All right, we're back talking about the Pitt Panthers, year 4 of Pat Narduzzi, and so far it's not been anything to write home about. A loss to Penn State on national TV, never good for recruiting, and then North Carolina, the nemesis, even though they had a lot of guys out on suspension. So Ron Cook, year 4, how hot is the seat that Pat Narduzzi sits?
Well, I don't know how hot it is. It should be a little bit anyway. I mean, I'm a big believer you got to give a guy 5 years, and I'm going to give him 5. Unless this season absolutely ends a disaster, which would probably be another year without a bowl game. He's 4-9, I believe, in his last 13 games against Power 5 conferences. It's not looking good. The defense just, to me, I felt like North Carolina was going to score on every possession yesterday. And that's a terrible reflection on him because he's a defensive coach. I don't think he has good enough players. Maybe he isn't recruiting well enough. I think year 4 to this point, very disappointing. Those 2 great wins against Penn State and Clemson aside. Not much else after that.
I mean, for me, he had a very curious quote yesterday about, well, if you keep taking the dog outside, eventually the dog's going to figure how to go and pee outside. And I'm like, 4 years in, maybe the dog isn't the problem, okay? I mean, this is North Carolina. Here's another stat for you, Bob. 2-15 in its last 17 games against major college opponents. Guess who the 2 wins are over? Over Pitt. I just think, and you look what a mess the Coastal is this year, where everybody is kind of sucks. Look what happened to Virginia Tech yesterday. This could have been a real chance for Pitt to take a step forward. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. And when is it going to happen?
Pat Narduzzi is all sizzle and no steak. Let's just say it. You know, all this old school Bud Kilmer throwback football coach stuff that he likes to wallow in, it's not manifesting in wins. You know, to Ron's earlier point about, the seat not being hot, and Bob, the way you phrased the question, I don't think it's hot at all. And I think it should be, because the program has regressed under him. It's not better. It's gone backwards. It took a couple baby steps forward, and now he's gone back from that. And it's always something besides the game, whether it was, talking about what was going to put him on ESPN with the comments about North Carolina in his pregame or his press conference, whether it was talking about the Penn State rivalry more so than the game itself. However you want to look under a microscope at what Narduzzi has done to get attention for the team, it hasn't been about winning. It's his antics on the sideline. They just are where they are, if not behind, with Narduzzi now as opposed to where they were in the first place.
He had a very curious, comment before the Penn State week about, I had to change the mindset in here, and I had to let them know that 7 wins wasn't a successful year anymore. Will help. 7 wins would look like a very successful season at this point after what happened yesterday. So I just wonder what is different. I mean, if I'm a Pitt fan, where am I going to see sort of that separation? And I mean, I don't know when it's going to come. And I don't think when you look at their skill players, especially on offense, they don't have any difference makers, and good teams do. That's a problem.
The thing that helps them, though, is Pitt's had so much turnover in the coaching staff. They're begging to have some consistency and stability, and I think that might buy him a little extra time here. I'm willing to give him another year. I truly believe 4, probably 5 years every coach deserves. But at this point right now, how can you say you like very much about him? I can't.
It's a great point. They don't want to have turnover anymore beyond their control. So, why would they make the seat hot on Narduzzi now to make him feel like he wants to leave when their biggest problem right now is this constant view that nobody wants to be here long term? So, yeah, Ron, I think you're right. That is going to get him some more time. And in the end, maybe that helps Pitt's program. But right now, I'm telling you, they are no further along. They're behind based on where they were when Narduzzi was the coach, say, in year 2 of his program.
And, if you look at the schedule, it would be a very Pitt thing to go and win at Central Florida next week,
sure,
right?
yes.
And then lose to Syracuse and then give Notre Dame a hell of a game. And then they finish 6-6. And we're like, we're right there. We're right there. Well, I mean, it's been a long time of being right there, sort of right there. And is his seat hot? No. Heather loves him. Like, she loves Pat Narduzzi. He does bring some energy to a certain segment of their fan base. But I just wonder if you want to broaden out. I mean, this year, you look at that division, the Coastal is a hot mess. Syracuse might win the Coastal, Tim, right? I mean, they legit. Were they in the other one? I don't even know which one they're in.
The other one. They're in the other one.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, Clemson's going to win that one. I apologize. Clemson's going to win that one. But, I mean, it's wide open, and they don't look like this would be a perfect year for them to step forward, and I just don't see it.
We have to take a break on that note. And by the way, Andrew Filipponi tweeted out something interesting yesterday that, according to that ESPN predictor that they use, Pitt won't be favored in any game for the rest of this season, which is interesting to see at this point. When we come back, we're going to talk about Tiger Woods and what he did today and how big of a comeback has this been from where he was to where he is. That's next right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.